Players, how you doing? Welcome back to the Retro Gaming News for May 2024. To start things off for the month of May, let's talk about a brand new arcade game coming out this summer from Raw Thrills. This is NBA Superstars, which is going to feature 30 NBA teams and 120 different NBA players, and is voiced by none other than the NBA Jam legend himself, Tim Kitzrow. It's a 4-player game, and it looks fantastic. I gotta say, Raw Thrills, for me, has been knocking it out of the park. They recently released, like about a year and a half ago, that King Kong virtual reality game, and before that, Cruisin' Blast, which I'm a big fan of, huge fan of the arcade, and also the game that was released on the Switch. I think the things that they are coming out with, even though it's one every year or two, these are some really good arcade games. The Trial of Karzoid. So this game I just covered recently in an episode of Player's Guide, the Homebrew episodes. This is an NES Homebrew. It's on Kickstarter right now. It is getting a physical release or digital, depending on the tier you fund it at, and you could get some other extras. This game plays a lot like Arkanoid, but there's actually bosses in this game too. And other than it being similar to Arkanoid, it has this medieval theme where you're going through castles, dungeons, courtyards, different medieval fantasy settings. So this is a really cool game, and I saw a picture of the cartridge on X where it's this really cool, vibrant purple color. It looks fantastic. Dream Shark for the Game Boy Color. This game is like, you're this astronaut with this big eyeball. It looks really weird, and it looks like it might be a multi-platform game. It definitely appears to be story-driven, but I mean, you could see for yourself in the trailer here. I don't know too much else about this game other than what is on Kickstarter and what we see here in the trailer, but it looks very different. It looks interesting, something you might want to consider supporting. Another Kickstarter for the Game Boy Color is Cosmo Knight. This game looks fantastic. This is like a beat-em-up platformer. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Battletoads. So, you know, not just a straight beat-em-up. There's definitely some platforming going on here, but it has a lot of beat-em-up elements to it. And it has this retro aesthetic where they've added in some scan lines. It looks really cool, and from the trailer, as you can see here, it looks like a game that was released just back in the day. All right, now for some modern games that got that retro aesthetic that we all love and play like a retro game on your modern console. Just released on PlayStation, Ramsey. So the Ramsey is a platforming squirrel with some mild storytelling here intertwined throughout the game. And it looks like it's pretty fast-paced. There's a lot of movement going on here that we could see in the trailer. It's very colorful, and one that you may want to pick up because it is available now. Bread and Fred. This is another new indie game that has, you know, some cool pixel art, looks like a retro game. This game is a 2-player game. I think you can play it 1 player though, and you rely on the second player, so you're playing as Bread or you're playing as Fred. So you're relying on either Bread or Fred to help you traverse through the different platforming levels to make various difficult jumps while you're tied together. So it's got a pretty interesting dynamic here to the game that is probably going to be a lot of fun. That game is also available now on the Switch. Wizardry. There's a brand new Wizardry game coming out called Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord. And I'm not entirely sure if this is a modern remake of the old game, but it looks like it is highly derivative of the original Wizardry that was released across various retro platforms, including the NES. So this is a modern take on that. And there's probably a lot of people that are excited about this classic series getting a new release. Speaking of classic series getting modern releases, Pac-Man Megatunnel Chomp Champs has just been released across all major platforms. This is a multiplayer party game. You can pick it up on your Switch or PlayStation. You can play across various different party game maps, and many of them pay homage to some classic arcade games. So this will be a fun one if you got some other friends who enjoy retro games and modern games and you're able to get together with them for a party night. Vampire Survivors just got a new DLC. It's called Operation Guns, and this is Contra coming in to the Vampire Survivors franchise. So this DLC has different Contra characters, Contra guns, and power-ups that are now being introduced into this game if you are already playing Vampire Survivors. Which, I haven't played this game, but I'm really interested now because I have all the Contra games and love that franchise. I don't want to say I love all the Contra games because, you know, there's a few stinkers in the Contra collection there, but that's okay. Overall, great series. All right, now the final piece of news, and you may have already heard about it, but I'm holding it out to the end, is the Nintendo World Championship Deluxe Edition. So this is going to come with a gold NES cartridge, a physical Switch game, some stickers, some really cool looking pins. It looks like a set of 5 of them, and you can get this in a big box for your Switch. And a bunch of people are probably going to hold on to this and keep it sealed. It's available for pre-order right now. If you just want to play it and keep your copy sealed, though, you can download the game for about 1/3 of the price to your Switch. So that is it for May retro gaming news. Some really great news here, though. Nintendo World Championships, a bunch of new games coming out, some DLC, some great stuff on Kickstarter, and a brand new arcade cabinet. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and tune in next month for the retro gaming news right here on Play Us Guide. Until then, I'll catch you on the flip side.